18 local government chairmen and their deputies who were suspended by the Edo State House of Assembly have vowed to carry out their duties unhindered until the expiration of their tenure in September 2026. Chairman of the Association of Local Government of Nigeria, who is also the chairman of Onhyomwon Local Government Area, Honorable Newman Ihiaibe, made the declaration while addressing journalists at the NUJ Secretariat in Benin City on behalf of his colleagues. Ogiawe said the chairmen were duly elected by their various local governments in September 2023, stressing that they enjoy the constitutional backing until September 2026, when their tenures will expire. He added that the 18 chairmen had, through their lawyer, Ogaga of Rawa, SAN and Sons, served Edo State Governor Senator Monde Okpebholo and the Speaker, Edo State House of Assembly. He added that the High Court of Justice No. 2, Benin City, granted an interim order restraining the defendants therein from interfering with, obstructing, and disturbing the claimants of their constitutional rights over all assets and funds allocated to them from the Federation account, and also restrained the defendants from suspending, removing, redeploying, meddling, or in any manner interfering with them in the administration and management of their councils. Ogiabe, while referencing similar Supreme Court judgment in Attorney General of the Federation versus Attorney General of Abia State and 35 others, 2024, wherein it emphatically obliterates the powers of the 36 states governors and houses of assembly or acting through their privies to dissolve or interfere in local government administration or management using powers derivable from laws enacted by the state houses of assembly, anyhow so called, or executive orders or other actions, anyhow so called. Quoted that from the foregoing, it is given that the action of the Edo State House of Assembly on Tuesday, 17 December 2024, in response to the request from Governor Monde Okpebholo suspending the chairman and vice chairman is ultra-virus and therefore a nullity because it is based on nothing in the eyes of the law. It is also a contempt against the order of the court. He equally called on the security agencies to protect their various local government area secretariats from possible attacks. Chizi, I'll start with you. What do you make of this story?
Well, you see, I think it's high time we begin to define our boundaries. You know, we have the third tier of government which the local government represents. I want to say that all of this, for me, let me even give kudos to the Edo State High Court. You know, because they are not a federal high court, they are Edo learn more. I think that the governor and the state of assembly has gone their bounds. That is not it. We have the council, we have legislators in the house whose duty is to call for the accounts of this. If the governor was actually calling for the account until the time, you know, they were consolidated account between them to say, look, from when you enter to the time that the state had consolidated account, I want to know what you have done, because the signatures of the governors were there. Because whether the president or the past is governor, of course you have right to question on the aspect that you had. I wanted to know what you used that money for. But to begin to make it a holistic thing, then I went ahead to not suspend them and give them. You know that in the first instance, even though he has asked that, I mean, they've asked that they hand over to the leaders of the house, of course, which are also councillors. They are not a caretaker committee, which the Supreme Court found out. But I think that they should immediately go back to that and then do the needful. I don't think the governor and the assembly in that instance has done right by doing that. I don't think so. But the court is there to tell us more.
All right. Very well, Daniel. What do you make of this story?
Yes. First, the Edo State House of Assembly laws allow them and give them the power to suspend local government chairmen for the period of 2 months.
You're right.
Well, I've seen what their lawyers quoted, but the recent one that we all know, the Supreme Court said that the Rivers State House of Assembly has the power to even extend tenure if elections were not conducted. In other words, powers were granted the State House of Assembly to take some reprieval measures.
Tenure elongation.
Yes, I'm only saying that the State House of Assemblies have some powers because they are the one who make laws for regulating the local government. Now, having said that, I think there are some clear bridges here that I do not think that the governor violates. One is that the account that was requested was from 2023 when they became local government chairman. At that time, there was what we call JAC, where the state and the local government share their account. And the governor has set up a body to investigate within that period. The governor is not asking for, they just started, it was just last month, the federal government started sending.
The governor set you dates.
At the time they had that meeting. It was just last month that they started having direct payment from.
When did they have the meeting?
They had the meeting last month.
Exactly.
No, early this month. Now, if you check they call them the revalidation something. They are in charge of retrieving government vehicles. I don't know if you saw one video trending online with the former commissioner for justice of Edo State was accosted
the
that.
Asset Verification Committee.
Yes.
Not set up.
Yes. They were supposed to submit their account because they want to use that account to check the claims of the state government, because you cannot audit that account without having to see what the local government did. At that time, the Supreme Court had never given any judgment as to say that the independence of the financial autonomy for state local government. And I think that the state government is right to investigate how much entered the Edo State, how much was meant for the local government, if that amount was sent to the local government. Two, the state government also has to know, is any of this local government in any liability that it does not know? Because
the local government are autonomous, are they not?
No, the issue is we need to be clearly, because there are state debts.
Go ahead.
Some of those state debts are distributed among some of those local governments that the state took on behalf because they operated the same joint account. And at that time, if the state wants to pay debt, it takes certain amount of money from those monies to service those debts. I think there need to be clear court to know what exactly.
By looking into the statement of
yes,
accounts.
If it is East or West, where I come from, for example, how much are we owing and stuff like that. How much was gone into, because we have seen local governments where the state government will say, sign and all, that money was transferred to the local government and it never went to the local government. I think the governor is in the right direction. The governor didn't on its own suspend anybody. He demanded for this account, and those account details, statements of accounts were not given to him. And then he went to the State House of Assembly, respecting the separations of power. He went to the State House of Assembly and told them, this is what has happened between us. Please, I need you to intervene. And with their powers, they have intervened, saying that in the next 2 months, those council chairmen have been suspended, pending on when those investigations will complete. He didn't say that they have been removed from office. So I think that the governor is right. Some of us who are from Edo State want to clearly know, now that we have all local government operating on their own. In my local government, for example, what is the debt that my local government is carrying? And what was that debt used in my local government? I want to know. I want to be aware. So I think the governor is in the right order to so demand.
All right. You know, when you were speaking, I had to quickly, because I had to check if I've lost comprehension or understanding of certain meaning of certain words like autonomy. So I had to quickly go to Google and to request for the meaning of autonomy. And it says here that autonomy is the rights to self-government or the right or condition of self-government. It also says autonomy, second definition, a self-governing country or region. And the third definition, it says freedom from external control or influence, independence. Apparently, it appears that in Nigeria, we tend to invoke some of these things when it suits us and when it does not. There is a Supreme Court judgment the last time I checked. There is a Supreme Court judgment affirming local government autonomy. Now, that Supreme Court judgment was not just dealing on local government financial autonomy, like everybody is saying. That Supreme Court judgment goes beyond financial autonomy of local governments. Now, I will ask you a question, Daniel. Are states federating units in the country?
Yes. No.
Are they autonomous?
Yes.
Very well. Now, let's look at the autonomy of states. Yes, Daniel, I'll still ask you this question. Can the federal government, let me even limit it to the office of the president, can the president demand for statement of accounts of states?
No, see, I think you're getting
Daniel, hold on. I know. I'm just asking you.
No.
He cannot. Very well. And do states enter into debts? Are states indebted? Because I recall the story of a state. Our presidential jet was seized because of a business that was entered by a state and not the federal government. Yeah. And Nigeria had to face international embarrassment on account. Hold on, Daniel. On account of a business that was entered into by a state, because we were talking about local governments, being indebted or some liabilities hanging on the necks of local government. Now, Nigeria has these states as federating units, and these federating units have their autonomy to a point that even we've had it in history, on record that some governors actually did challenge certain presidents. Obasanjo is one of them, with a governor in Rivers State. I mean, these things happened, and these governors served out their tenures. But in the case of Edo State, it appears that what applies in the state does not apply in the local government. Isn't this even the reason why this autonomy in the first place, a matter was instituted in the Supreme Court? In the first instance, because of the interference of the state in the affairs of the local government. Now you're saying that it is because of Jack. The law is the law. If these states have liabilities, just like state government, if those local governments have liabilities, just like state governments have liabilities, right now, these local governments are receiving healthy sums, and they are also responsible for also generating internally generated revenue for themselves at the local level. So why can't they run their affairs? If they are financially autonomous, why can't they run their affairs and service these liabilities without the interference of the state, Daniel?
I think that first, let's separate some things.
Go ahead.
The jet that was seized, the purpose of seizing that jet was that transaction was guaranteed by the federal government. And so you can hold a guarantor when the other didn't pay or didn't fulfill part of that obligation. Two is that local government is not a state in a state. No, let's not get that wrong.
Are they autonomous?
Financial autonomy and tenure autonomy is not a state. It doesn't confide in them.
If they are financially autonomous, why is the state government interfering in their finances?
I relaxed when you were.
Because go ahead.
No,
go ahead, Daniel.
You will break my line of thought. Local government are not states in a state. No. Local governments are regulated. Federal government don't bring their laws. It is the state House of Assembly that create laws for them. It's the governor that signs those laws. And so let's not mistake a local government to a state. The local government is a form to reach the far end of the state. Nothing has to do with, can the federal government ask the state to submit? No. Those are two different things. Three. And I said this clearly here.
Go ahead.
There is a date of judgment that the Supreme Court gave. That date, we cannot backdate it. jack existed in in Edo State, where there was a joint allocation, joint account between the state government and the local government. And I think that the governor is right in all sense to demand to know that at that time, if the governor is telling me that he needed statement of account for November, I will be surprised. He doesn't need the account for November. You remember, there was a political solution reached among the governors to allow that direct allocation now start coming in from November. The governor is not demanding for that. He has never said in any way that he needed that particular. No. When the account for Edo State and the local government existed, he wants to have a look into that account and know what has happened. And I don't think that is bad for anything. If we now say that because a local government has financial autonomy and has tenure, enjoys its tenure of 4 years according to the Supreme Court, that does not make the local government a state in a state. No, not at all. I think we are taking the powers of the local government too far. They will still be regulated by the state itself.
Being regulated by the state, you know, there are two bodies making laws for local governments. The local governments, you appear to have forgotten, have their own legislative body.
Of course.
The councillors that make laws for the day-to-day running of local governments. And then we have the state houses of assembly that make laws for the state. That makes law, for the state, of course, and also makes law for the local government. Now, if there was a restraining order barring the governor and barring the state houses of assembly from suspending this local government, isn't the governor and the state of assembly in contempt for going ahead to suspend them against a restraining order that was issued against them?
That can be challenged at the court. Mm-hmm. But my bone of contention here is that the account from 2023, there was a joint account between the state and the local government. And I think the governor is not in contravention of any law. If I say I want to have a look of that account before 2024, before November 2024, nothing is bad about that. Nothing is bad about that. I think the governor is right to demand for such account.
Well, you think the governor is right to demand for such account. I'll still come back to you. But then, Chizzy, I know you've been itching to say something. Go ahead.
Well, firstly, he said something that, and I need to separate them, like he always say. You said at the local government, they have two people that make law for the local government. Of course, the local government council, the legislative, and then, of course, the state council. The same way it is for the state. Whether anybody likes it, even the autonomy, we'll have the Federal National Assembly making law for the entire country and for the state. And then we'll have the state making law for the state. As well. So, but it does not allow the national... No wonder you see that, for instance, in the absence of... if there is a state of emergency here now, the president will have to appoint a sole administrator to hold on until the vacancy is filled. So that means that there is also powers that the federal government has. But the state, even at that, the state is not a country in the country. But still, they still run their own. They are not country in the country. So the local government not being state in a state does not matter. But I can tell you, if the governor has specifically said, from when you entered to when, because he didn't say that, he just said to date, from when you entered to when you started having your allocation, when that judgment took effect, we want you to submit the budget so we know, we want you to submit the account. But even at that...
No, hold on, let me correct you. That visit happened this month, in December. Now, when the deputy governor was addressing the chairman who came to pay courtesy visits to the governor, he told them, Denis Idahosa, told them to submit their statement of account from 2023 to that December, after the Supreme Court judgment had happened.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
So it wasn't that the order was not between the time that they had that jack. It was till date.
I'm also saying that assuming that it's also between the time they had the jack, you will not now go to the assembly to ask them to suspend them. Because autonomy has started. Except that you are saying that. That's why I wanted, if I'm privy to authority, I would have said, okay, let us even read that judgment. Because you see, as soon as that judgment, the judgment is not retrospective. Of course, it's not going to go back. That judgment does not capture when it was Jack, when there was a joint allocation. No, it didn't capture it. It captures from when it starts. And as soon as it has started, they are now autonomous. You cannot suspend them. The people that can suspend them, what the best you can do is to take the whole of that report
when you say people that can suspend them, can an elected local government chairman be suspended or impeached?
By the legislators.
Can they be suspended when they are elected?
Of course, yes.
Suspended.
By
so
the legislators.
An elected governor can be suspended?
Yes, of course.
Suspension.
Oh, you mean suspension? No,
That's
it can only be
I am asking the question. I didn't say impeachment.
No.
That's what I'm saying. Can a governor be suspended?
No.
Can a local government chairman be suspended?
No.
Go
not
ahead.
at all. They can only be impeached.
Go
So the people that have rights to impeach them will be the councillors. Their own legislative body, not the assembly doing
So
that.
the assembly has no business suspending, even though they said that they have a law that empowers them. Now, this is a local government law by the Edo State House of Assembly. If a law is not consistent with the constitution of the federal government, should it even see the light of the day?
The Bible says, the constitution says to that extent it is now null and void.
Go ahead.
It is null and void. So as soon as a pronouncement, see, let me tell you, in legislation, in law, the reason why the Supreme Court comes into certain making certain judgment is because if there's a lacuna in the Constitution, the Supreme Court does one thing, either to define it right or to make a new law. So as soon as they give a judgment, that judgment becomes law, and it takes effect from the date of the judgment. And now, so there's a judgment now that has given them autonomy. The only thing that I wanted to find out from that judgment, if I go back to read it well, whether that judgment is holistic. That's autonomy.
In the Supreme Court judgment, you know, the Supreme Court dealt extensively with the issue of caretaker committees,
of course, that
by governors.
Governors cannot.
And when it was dealing with that caretaker committees by governor, he said the Supreme Court obliterated the powers of the governor or the House of Assembly or their privy. Now, when you say somebody is acting through proxy,
yeah, sure,
you know what that means.
It
means through any means whatsoever. Do you understand? Obliterated their powers to even suspend them or interfere in the management and running of the local government.
Of course.
So if that was done by Supreme Court, how come Edo State High Court, months after the Supreme Court judgment has taken effect, is saying, let's not even forget, that judgment was given, it had life, you know, and then months down the line, Edo State House of Assembly is saying that they are quoting an Edo State local government law that empowers them to suspend when the Supreme Court judgment has said they can no longer act in that capacity.
Like what I said, assuming without considering what my friend and brother is saying is that they wanted to know whether certain debts were incurred and all of that and all of that. Assuming that these debts that you said,
is it through the statement of account?
It's not.
I want to.
It's not. It cannot even come from the statement, their own statement of account. It is even from you because, of course, if you see, let me tell you, a state cannot take an external debt without the federal government. The reason is that they are the grantor. The same with the local government.
So now, I to a large extent, one would say probably the Obaseki administration should explain to Okpebholo if the administration entered into any loan, whatever assets, whatever liabilities,
he
was managing the funds for the local government chairman in this instance. But then let us look at the political undertone of this whole quagmire right now. Do you think, because I mean there are concerns that this could be a witch hunt, considering that this local government chairman are from the PDP, the opposition in Edo State, while Okpebholo is an APC governor, and also considering the bad blood, you know, that that is now running between Obaseki and Okpebholo. I mean, between APC and PDP. But to all intents and purposes, everything appears now to be taking a personal dimension. But then, what do you make of the political undertone of this move by Edo State House of Assembly and the governor?
You know why that is a little bit complex? That's a little bit complex because even the Edo State of Assembly is populated by PDP Assembly.
But they pledged allegiance.
No, that's that. But they affect PDP. They affect PDP. After all, the local government came to play allegiance. Of course, it's the state. They affect PDP, whether you like it or yes. So, to me, it's a little bit complex. It's not something we can truly say that is political. Because the people who even approved that were PDP Assembly members. So, it's not like because of party. But I know they wanted to get at something. Maybe, like you said, the only way they can go back to it is to go back to the state to look at the state fund. Because he's not, yes, he's governor of the state, but he's not the local government chairman. He's not going to probe into the account of the local government. They can force the assemblies.
Is it not the legislative arm of the local government
that should do
in
that?
In this instance, the councillors that have the right to actually inquire into the spendings of the local government chairman. Are they not the ones that should call for an inquiry or a probe or ask the chairman to submit certain expenditures or even the statement, whatever? Are they not the ones, the legislative arm of the local government, are they not the ones who are supposed to, so let's say the governor even wants to probe, is this probe supposed to come to the office of the governor?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Does the governor have the right to probe the affairs of the local government?
No.
All right,
no.
Very well.
The governor does not. But anybody can call for probe. Let me tell you why I say so. Even an individual, for instance, I could do a petition to the assembly. I could do
that the right porters should probe.
That the right porters should probe. So
even
if you are doing something, if you had, for instance now, if you had the jack and then notice some discrepancies around the local government, the state can submit it to the assemblies, to their own legislative body to say, look at what we have found in that district. Go ahead and do what you want to do.
All right, very well. Daniel, what do you have to say?
No, briefly, I think that the governor is worried. One, when Oshiomhole left, our debt was about 40 billion. When this governor is leaving now, it's about 500 and something billion. The time of reference, you can find that with the Asset Verification Committee, does not include November. You can find.
I am quoting what the governor, the deputy governor
said.
No,
that was in a meeting where they were talking.
He said, present your statement of account from September, from 2023 to date.
He didn't mention to who there, I bet.
No, let me tell you what he said.
Okay.
Daniel. Dennis Idahosa, the deputy governor of Edo State, when addressing the local government chairman, told them that they should submit their statement of accounts within 48 hours from the inception of their tenure in 2023 to date.
Okay.
That visit was in December. Hold on. That visit was in December. He said from 2023 to date, to the secretary of the government through the Access Verification Committee.
That's why I'm talking that a governor can address people. The time of reference is with that committee. It does not include November.
Well, I am telling you what the governor.
I'm only telling.
Let me just say. Let me even help you here. If I wanted to know the terms of reference,
I would probably maybe after the show.
No, because we need to know, if we know the terms of reference now, I begin to think whether he just wanted to probe.
Because right now, what we know is what the deputy governor instructed.
No,
he said it's from.
They came for a visiting. They came to pay a visit to the deputy governor, and during the visitation, in the interaction, he said that they should submit their statement of account till date. But I'm telling you that the time of reference with the committee itself that is saddled with the responsibility does not include November when
Do
federal.
You have the time of reference?
I just said I'll send to you. It does not include. I don't know. We had that conversation before. I don't know what I was.
Yes, I wanted to ask you that. I wanted to ask you that. Then. Let me not interject. I just wanted to ask.
Okay.
Do you really think that a deputy governor can stand up to make that statement without first clearing from the place to know the terms of reference in the first place?
No, hold on, sir. I'm telling you, it does not include when federal government paid directly to to the local government. No. What they were trying to find out is from the day those guys resumed, the time they share the same account with the state government. That's what the state is looking for. Which also include, it doesn't end with the local government, unfortunately the local government account that took, it also calls all the commissioners to submit the vehicles that they purportedly bought from the state government. All of those things are inclusive, but unfortunately it is the local government thing that overshadowed the whole thing.
No, that's because he has gone overbound.
No, he has not.
The commissioners are within the jurisdiction.
No.
I mean, if you call the commissioners to do something, nobody will look at that.
No, I'm only saying, are we now agreeing on this table here that the state does not have the right to look into those accounts when they both share the same account?
The caveat is when they both share.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
But that's not what is happening now.
No. Okay.
Gentlemen,
I'm coming. Just few seconds. Are you saying that if because he made that statement in early December and he said to date, okay, only November was included? How about what he requested from 2023?